Hello everyone, this is the fifth video in the series. In the earlier videos, I briefed you about my understanding of the SmartODR, how the exchange representative is handling your complaint during the first 21 days of filing it on SmartODR, and how the process furthers during the conciliation stage. In this video, I shall be explaining what exactly happened in my case during the conciliation process. In my case, I attended the hearing on the agreed date. However, the respondent did not attend it. And although it was difficult for me, I offered to remain available on the second hearing date as advised by the conciliator. But the respondent did not give their availability and the hearing wasn't scheduled. I was not available for the hearing on the third date with the respondent, so I requested the ODR Institute and the conciliator to share the hearing recordings, transcript or the meeting minutes so I can respond to it in the interest of justice. But both ODR Institute and the conciliator refused to give anything of it. At this point in time, I truly felt that it was nothing more than a mockery of the process and expressed the same to the conciliator, ODR Institute and the exchange. I had no idea what was going to happen, and nobody bothered to clarify it to me. Later, the conciliator had a hearing with the respondent in my absence, and in response to my follow-up thereafter, I received an email from the conciliator through the Jupitize suggesting an amount of claim per his understanding to see if it is acceptable to me and if we can have another hearing. The amount that the conciliator suggested was barely a 5% of my claim, and it appeared from the email as a gross misunderstanding of the conciliator. So I clarified it in my reply while reiterating my request for the minutes of the meeting, so I am also aware of the argument the respondent submitted in their defense. That way, the conciliator can give his report based on the facts that I clarify, basis the response or the defense the respondent have given. I also offered to appear for another hearing if the respondents are willing to accept the non-negotiable part of my claim. The conciliator did not share any minutes, but after seeing my reply and clarification on his email, I was asked by the case manager from the Jupitize that the conciliator wants to speak to me. I clarified it to the case manager that if it is regarding the hearing, I would rather have it in writing by means of a minutes. But if the conciliator needs any quick clarification from me, I would gladly cooperate. It was indeed about hearing only, and I was dragged into conversation by the conciliator rather than have it communicated formally by means of a meeting minutes. I understood the argument given by the respondent in their defense from the conciliator, and I asked the conciliator if he asked the respondent to substantiate their defense with proofs. The conciliator expressed his inconvenience to have the hearing conducted with each party separately. However, there was no other way. Hence, I attempted my level best to cooperate and clarify everything as needed after hearing it from the conciliator, while reiterating my claim in detail. I also requested him that he should be very clear with his opinion in the report, and it should be detailed enough, unlike how the complaint was disposed on SEBI scores, ignoring the facts with no clarity whatsoever. The conciliator attempted to make me understand that it is just a preliminary stage, non-judicial and non-binding, and I can go up to the Supreme Court to escalate my complaint. I replied to him that I have invested so much time and took trouble to deal with it while suffering the losses. So I would certainly not want an unreasonable and unjust outcome, irrespective of it in favor or against. The conciliator assured his best. Later, I also jot down key points and links to the exchange and the regulator circulars from my submission for the quick reference and clarification based on the arguments from the respondent in their defense, and requested the case manager to share this with the conciliator for his quick reference. About 5 days before the initial 21 days period was going to expire, I received a call from the case manager asking for my consent to have the timeline extended for another 10 days. I was told that the conciliator has to prepare his report and he has to summarize everything as submitted by you and the respondent along with the hearing minutes in the report, so it is time-taking process. The hearing was delayed twice and I wanted this stage to pass in a week's time, but it went on for over 2 weeks. So I refused to give consent for extension just to prepare a report when there was absolutely nothing new submitted to the conciliator from either side during the entire process. I received the report right before the given timeline was to end. It was barely a 2-page report, unlike how the case manager explained it to me while seeking my consent for the extension to prepare it. And although the report was favorable, it was full of errors and ambiguities that trivialized the claim to less than the 2% of the claim without any proper justification basis the fully clarified submission and the hearing. I take a pause here, but before I conclude, here are some of the key points for your reference. I was told that there is no process to share the meeting recording, transcripts, or the minutes of it in case if the party has not attended it. I also argued that why is the respondent allowed to remain available for their availability and not mandated to attend a hearing in the first week itself. It is obvious for them to delay the proceedings by not giving their availability. Besides, the respondent is professionally run organization and cannot give any excuse of their availability when there are not just one but a team of people working for them, all capable of attending an hour-long hearing. Just to summarize this. Nevertheless,